Hi, my name is Shontelle, and this is my real girl testimony. Good afternoon, or good evening, or good day, whatever time of the day you're watching this. I want to thank Deborah for having me on her channel. Today, I was asked to give my testimony. And when Deborah first asks, I always say yes. For the Lord, yes. Because whenever you say no, you know you don't know what the devil is keeping you from. So I feel for God, yes. But I was very, trepidatious because I don't know that I felt or feel like I could give a testimony in this season of my life. But here I am, and here goes. I was praying and I said, God, what do you want me to say? Because I don't know what to say. And up until about 10 minutes ago, I still didn't know what to say, but I was going to open my mouth, right? And the words are going to come out. So what I received in my spirit is the power of prayer and peace. Prayer and peace. Prayer, and then prayer at the forefront, and peace that always follows every situation in my life. I don't know if I even realized that before 10 minutes ago. It's crazy, right? But I don't know if I even realized prayer and peace is my formula for getting through the day and for getting through my trials. From the time I became a Christian, when I was 14, 15 years old, parents were going through a divorce. I was not in a good place. I was the eldest child. That wasn't a good place to be, and bearing a brunt of how that made me feel really led me to Christ and led me to lean on Him heavily. And I said, God, I need you in my life because I don't know. I'm looking all around me and I ain't finding my peace. And He became my peace. And from there, and through every single test. When I tell you, my first reaction to anything that happens in my life is to freak out. Anything at all. I don't know. I just freak right out. I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I turn around like a headless chicken for a good 10, 15 minutes. If somebody's close to me, I'm like, what do you think I should do? But then something always whispers, pray. Pray. Gather myself and pray. Sometimes the words are not words. Sometimes they're just groans of my heart. And I'm like, Lord, I don't know, Lord, I don't know, Lord, I don't know. I've repeated that particular prayer many, many, many times to my savings account. Lord, I don't know, Lord, I don't know, Lord, I don't know. Help me, help me, help me. And then afterwards, just peace. Peace that passes understanding. Peace that passes what I was going through and the storm that I was in. Just peace in the midst of the storm. As of 2 years ago, I lost my dad. He was a fish vendor in the market. I know some people may have heard of it. It was in the paper. He was just a good guy. He was doing somebody a favor and dropping them home. And that person took it upon themselves to set up my dad to be murdered. Maybe they didn't set them up to be murdered, but they set them up to be robbed. But if anybody knows my father, they know that he's a fighter. So that would not have gone down so easily with him. And it didn't. He received 8 stab wounds around his body. And he still, after the event, drove himself to the hospital. Got out the van and told the people in accident emergency what happened. So I gave them somehow they got his phone and was able to contact his family. Just a small testimony of his strength. But, never in my life would I ever think that I would just be sitting at the table at home. I don't even know, I was watching a YouTube video or something. Somebody called me and said that your dad, my cousin called and said your dad just got stabbed and is in the hospital. Like, what? Are you crazy? That's not my dad. He's home, he's safe. And I could not believe it. not for the way that he lived his life, not for how he was to people, I could never believe that that was his end. And obviously, in the moment, it took me to a place of anger. Like, this is crazy. This is not real. This is not, this is not how my dad is supposed to die. Not how he's supposed to be taken from me. I'm supposed to crawl with him until he gets old about drinking Coke and eating too much sugar and being a diabetic. This is not how my dad lives my life. So for the first day, he would have been in ICU and in surgery, and they were doing their best to keep him alive, and his body just was not responding, maybe because of the loss of blood or because of, pre-existing health concerns. But he was in a place where he could, nod his head and let us know that he was still there, and we would say love you, and he would just nod his head, but he was not able to respond. But because we were all surrounding him, I still felt that his spirit was at peace, knowing that, we know we're here and we're with you and we love you. After he died, it was just chaos. Like, my mind was blank. It was just walking through the days in swirls of decisions to do this or to do that about a funeral, and people asking me random questions that didn't even make sense at the moment, because I'm like, what are you asking? My dad died. Doesn't the world stop now? Doesn't time stand still for me to grieve? But it didn't. And when people would message me or they would say something to me, to be uplifting, I would just reply and tell them, just keep me in prayer. I need you to pray for me harder than you've ever prayed for me before. And one day I was coming home from, making funeral arrangements or something with my husband, and I just felt the weight of what happened just hit me in my stomach. And I was pregnant at the time. I was only 3 months pregnant. And I said, Davian, then stop praying. What happened? I was okay. What's happening? I just broke down. I just broke down and I cried, like I hyperventilated till I could not breathe. And he had to tell me, you have to breathe for that baby. You have to breathe for yourself. You have to breathe because you're going to be okay. This is awful, but you're going to get through this. And he held me and he prayed with me. And when I tell you peace, the peace that flowed after that transcends anything that I would have ever been through before. But time and time and time again, dad's death, the grief of that comes in waves to this day. It just hits me at unexpected times, and to gather myself, I have to pray. I have to stop, pray, and there's always peace that follows it. I have applied to many positions since for my tenure that I've been at the company. I've worked there for 7 years. And time after time after time, I've been rejected for some reason or the other. At one point, this is like the third, fourth interview. We had a test, we had a physical test, we did a test for Excel. I'm thinking, ooh, doing so good. HR coming to me, the company manager coming to me and telling me, giving me commendations. Or, you came from outer left field, we were not expecting you in the running. Like, what does that mean? And then, 2 marks on that Excel question, so I regained it to somebody else. Not that saying that person wasn't qualified or anything, it just is the constant, So those rejection takes me to a really low place. I don't know, for a reason, probably should seek counseling for that. But takes me to a really, really low place. Takes me to a place where I feel like I am not good enough. I am not worthy. I am not welcomed. And the last one, that was again probably like 2 weeks ago. So another reason why I was not sure that I had a testimony to tell, more like in the test part of the testimony, is because when I received the news that I didn't get the position, the comment that was told to me from the person that was relaying the message was like, that job is above you. And I'm like, dude, is your blood blue and mine red? Because if you were given a higher position and you learn how to manage, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I learn those coping skills as well? What are you saying? So when I said I did my best to hold myself together and still broke down, that was a real failure for me, because I never want to let people see me cry. I was so mad that I cried, and I was just like, what are you saying? I just need you to tell me why you didn't get this job. Like, I don't want all the fluff. I'm a very straightforward, tell me what it is person. And they weren't giving me that. They were giving me the run around, use this opportunity to work on yourself, and this, all that glitters is a goal. I know that. Tell me what I need to know to get a proper job. Thanks. So after I came from that interview, my first reaction, freak out. I went back to my workstation and I just broke down. I sobbed and I sobbed and I cried and I cried and I cried, and I'm in my mind, I'm telling myself all the things, all the motivational quotes, all the scripture. Yes, Lord, whatever is for me will be. You coming to give me the increase. Don't worry about this, Shontelle. This doesn't mean anything. God has greater for you. Greater is coming. You're gonna be good. And I'm still crying, sobbing like a child in a corner. And I could not gather myself. I could not pull it back together to put back on my mask and continue my work day. I was just like, good day, I'm not feeling well, I'm going home. And I went home and I continued to cry. I continued to cry, and I said, God, I know that it's not for me. I know that if it was for me, I would have it. I know that you would make my paths plain. But I couldn't stop crying. I couldn't let go of that feeling of rejection. But the nighttime, when my husband came home, he gave me some words, and those went straight over my head too. But the nighttime, when I had time to just be alone and to myself, I prayed and I said, Lord, thank you. Thank you for not allowing me to get that job. Thank you for continuing to prepare your way for me and not my way. And the next day when I woke up, I had such a great day. It was such a great day. It was just a peaceful day. I enjoyed my daughter. I enjoyed my sister, my husband. I laughed with my family and friends on the phone. And I went to work the next day with a changed heart and a changed mindset, where I'm gonna accept that I'm gonna freak out for rejection, because that seems to be real cornerstone of who I am. Working on it, but knowing that God has a plan for me after I prayed and I received peace, prayer and peace. That's my equation. Just simple math. When I pray, I receive peace from God, and I'm thanking Him every day for that. And this is my real girl testimony.